Hey everybody, getting ready to cook a beef tri-tip on my Old Smokey electric today. I picked this up from my local butcher a while back, and this is a small tri-tip. It's just under 2 pounds. If you're not familiar with tri-tip, you can Google it, but it's real popular out on the West Coast, and my Costco sells them in both roasts and steaks. And I've had quite a bit of it. It's up until a few years ago, it was a relatively inexpensive cut of meat compared to ribeye or New York strip or something like that. And I used to buy them a lot, but it's gotten more expensive as it's become more popular. But personally, I think it tastes just as good as a ribeye. I really enjoy it a lot, and I've had quite a bit of it, but I've never cooked one on my Old Smokey, so that's why I'm doing the video today. This one's got some decent marbling in it. It's got a bit of a fat cap on the back, which I'm probably going to trim off. And because of the shape of it, because you can see it's thick in the middle here, and then on the edges, it thins out, if you can see that there, pretty thin. So it's going to cook unevenly, and I'm aiming to get it done, kind of like a steak, so like a medium rare. So I'm going to do it low and slow in the Old Smokey. I'm going to cook it at about 225 degrees. I'll put a temperature thermometer in there, and I'll cook it up to about 130 and then pull it off. I may wrap it in foil for a bit and let it come up to temp. And depending on how it looks, I may either put it under the broiler to get a bit of a browning effect on it, or if I'm not too entranced in whatever football game happens to be going on at the time, I may dust off my Weber grill and get a little chimney of charcoal going and give it a nice fast sear on some charcoal, which would give it a nice taste. But I don't know. It's a bit of an experiment today. We'll just try and play along with it and see how it goes. But for the rub, fairly simple. Just going to do some kosher salt, some cracked black pepper, garlic powder, rosemary, and oregano. I'm going to dry it off after I take it out of the package here, trim up that fat cap, and then put the rub on it, and throw it back in the fridge for an hour or two. And then we'll take her outside and throw her on the Old Smokey. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the tri-tip out of the package and dried off, and I thought I'd give you guys a little tip here. Now that you can see it a little better, you notice how the grain is running this way, and before I put the rub on, I thought I'd point out that this is the best time to notice the direction of the grain, so that when you go to carve it, you know where you want your knife. So because the grain is running this way, I'm going to start at this point here and kind of work my way back, so I'm cutting across the grain. Because this tri-tip is fairly small, I don't really have to mess with doing anything different than just cutting from here and working my way back. If it were a bigger tri-tip, usually, and you can find videos on YouTube talking specifically about how to carve a tri-tip, a lot of people will cut it like right here, because on this end of the meat, the meat fibers kind of turn in a different direction, so you probably start cutting it that way. But because this one's so small, it's not worth it. But anyway, that's what it looks like. There was quite a bit of fat on the back, which means this it's I'd say probably more like 1.5 pounds. I took so much fat off. So it's going to cook pretty quick. So, and you can see that the thickness, not real thick. I mean, maybe 1.25 inches there at the thickest point, and the rest of it's maybe between 1 inch and 1/2 inch. So, but nevertheless, it's going to taste great, and looking forward to throwing it on the Old Smokey. So, see you outside. Okay, we're ready to rock and roll here. Going to use some Mesquite wood chips today, because I like Mesquite. I think it gets a bad rap occasionally. Some people don't like it because they think it has a funny taste, but this is going to be a fairly quick cook. So even if any of that negative comments about Mesquite is true, not going to matter much. But this is how much chips I'm using. Again, I don't soak my wood chips as usual, and probably more than I need. But See, a little pile in the corner and a few stragglers scattered around. So we're going to start the smoker cold. Got my PID electronic temperature controller set up here with a temperature probe built into the Old Smokey, and I'm expecting this cook to take maybe an hour and a half at tops. So we'll go get the meat and we'll get started. Okay, we're ready to start. I've got the TriTip on the Old Smokey. Got a temperature probe inserted into it. Tried to get it in the thick of this part, but it's kind of hard because it's fairly thin. Got another temperature gauge there to monitor the grate temp, and got everything plugged in over here. I've got, let's see, outside temp is showing as, what does it say, 90 degrees, but I think that's just because the probe's in the sun at the moment. It's not really that warm out. It's closer to 75 or so. But we'll go ahead and fire this up, and we'll check back in with you when it's all done. Okay, so I've pulled the TriTip off the Old Smokey. I was only on there about 40 minutes or so. Pulled it at 130 degrees. I should probably repeat that I was cooking it at around 225, and the temperature ranged from 225 to 250, so it cooked pretty fast. But it's looking kind of well, gray as I expected, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it in foil for about 20-30 minutes, and then I think I am going to throw it under the broiler for a few minutes just to brown it up a little bit. So I'll be back when we've got it ready to slice. Okay, we're all done. Total cooking time was maybe 50 minutes plus 20 minutes rest. I cooked it around between 225 and 250 degrees on the Old Smokey. And I brought it in, wrapped it in foil, and rested it for 20 minutes, and then I threw it under the broiler for about 5 minutes just to brown it up and give it a little color. So a lot faster than I thought it was going to go, but I think that has to do with because it's such a small piece of meat. But let's cut into it and see how it looks. Remember what I said about the grain? So the grain's running this way. So we're going to start at this little point and work our way back. So we'll see how it looks. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's looking a lot better than I was expecting it, to be honest with you. This was such an experiment because I've never done it on the Old Smokey before. That's beautiful. 1/4-inch slices. Feels very tender. Very tender. Lots of juice. Oh, that's beautiful. You can get a good look at that. Any nice medium rare in there. Probably closer to, no, that's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Let me try a little piece here and see how it tastes. Wow, that's fantastic. Okay, so that was a successful experiment on the Old Smokey Electric. I'll put all the details down in the description. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments, but good luck with your smokes on the Old Smokey Electric, and I'm getting ready to go watch the rest of my football game and enjoy my dinner. See you guys next time.